All right, I promised you guys a part 2, and I meant it. If you watched that first video about how to kill aphids on your houseplants once and for all, then you saw that what I use is soap and water. And if you haven't seen that, I'll put a link down in the description below down there. If you did see it and you did try the soap and water, and for whatever reason you're struggling with it and it didn't work, I'm going to give you the absolute nuclear weapon for these aphids or any other soft-bodied creatures. This will work for spider mites, it'll work for russet mites. It annihilates russet mites very easily, and it'll also work for thrips. Although with thrips, I've noticed it can take a few days as they fully crawl around on the leaves. So this new solution is sulfur, and I don't know why nobody's talking about this stuff. In fact, when I first found this solution, I had to search through old archives of people talking about how to get rid of these little bugs, and finally stumbled across one person's post who mentioned the use of sulfur in getting rid of different types of mites. I tried it. It immediately, one treatment, annihilated my infestation, and I never had another infestation the rest of that winter. That was several years ago. So between the soap and water and this sulfur, they are awesome tools for your tool belt and keeping your plants healthy. Once again, I just use this half-gallon sprayer, and I actually, after that last video, or actually I might have done it before the last video, I'm always forgetting my measurements, so I went ahead and just wrote them down. I'll put them up here for you on the side of that bottle there, so for the soap and for the sulfur. But the sulfur is a little bit different. You use 1.5 tablespoons for this jug here, and that ends up making a solution that's strong enough to get rid of them. Now, the things you need to understand about sulfur. Sulfur is completely safe for plants. Just like the Epsom salt, sulfur is in Epsom salt. Sulfur is not going to hurt plants. Sulfur is a natural compound that plants need to thrive and grow healthy, and this is not going to hurt them. I've sprayed this on lots of different plants. I've never had a problem with sulfur. The worst thing that you're going to get with it is that it will make it might make your house or wherever your plants are growing smell a little bit like a rotten egg for a couple days because of that sulfur smell. But if you're dealing with a really bad mite or aphid infestation, it might be worth putting up with that for a few days. Now, this is a fine powder. It's different than a soap. So I'm going to open this up and show it to you. And show you what it looks like. In fact, let's just pour a little of this out. Now, I don't recommend doing this. I'm just doing this to show you guys. It's not wet, so it's not going to burn, but it can irritate your skin if you get it on your skin wet. There it is dry. It's just a very, very fine powder. That's all it is. Now, like I showed you, it is a very fine powder. So when I mix this stuff up in here, after this is a small amount left here, and I'll take you out here and show you what it looks like when you're spraying it. But when you mix it up, it is a fine powder, and so it will sit in the water. It will be suspended in the water, but after a couple days of sitting in one place, if you don't use it all, that powder will slowly begin to settle out and just sit on the bottom. So you have to shake it. And just to be sure I'm getting the sulfur on my plants, while I'm spraying different plants, I'll just give it a couple shakes in between each plant to make sure that it's fully dispersed. Now, where do you get this stuff? You get this stuff in any garden center. I got this stuff, I think, at maybe Lowe's, Home Depot, something like that. But this whole bottle costs $7.99. I bought it years ago, and I'm getting down about a quarter of the container left, but this stuff lasts forever. Like I said, it's 1.5 tablespoons per half gallon. You usually only need 1 to 2 treatments a year, if that. And I mean, I've still got this bottle after years of use. It also happens to be a great plant fungicide. So if you're struggling with fungus problems, this stuff will take it out. So I want to show you what this stuff looks like when it's sprayed on some plants. So I've got my rhododendrons here, and I'm just going to spray a little bit on these leaves right here to show you. So we'll shake this stuff up, make sure it's fully dispersed in that container, and then I just spray it on. This container's almost empty, so I got to hold it upright. But that's all I do. You can do that on all your house plants or any other plants that are having infestations with these little soft-bodied creatures. And you can see, in fact, on this leaf, some of it's kind of pooling down, and you can see that white residue. That's the fine powder, and it's hard to see throughout here because it's still wet, but that fine powder will be left behind all over this leaf. Now, this stuff generally kills on contact, but like I said, with thrips, for some reason, I still see a few left over days later, but eventually they tend to die off. You may need a second treatment. Eventually they tend to die off though, and after this stuff dries, this liquid dries on here, you'll be able to come back hours later or even the next day and see the fine sulfur powder on all of the leaves there, and see that it really did get applied on there properly. So like I said, I've never had this stuff harm a plant ever. Never seen it burn leaves, never seen it cause any damage to any of my plants. It is completely safe. I've just never seen a problem with it. However, if you are worried about using this because you've got a particular plant that is special, or it's a unique plant and it's something that you just can't stand to cause any damage to or lose it all, you might want to try it on a small little leaf. I haven't tried this on every plant in existence. There might be some plants that are sensitive to sulfur, but if it's that situation, then you might want to use it on a small leaf first. So that's it. Those are my two bona fide, tried and true methods for completely eradicating aphids, thrips, spider mites, russet mites, all kinds of little soft-bodied creatures on your houseplants. I hope you guys find the same success with these measures, the soap and water and the sulfur, that I have found with them. If you guys like this one, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to follow along. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios!